Hello,
Hello.
welcome back to episode 19 to the Hello
My
Hello
God.
podcast. So close to 20.
We are so close to 20. Yes,
We're
I
flying
like
by.
it felt like only like 2 weeks ago we were at episode 10, like sort of the first big milestone for the podcast, and now we're at like double that again.
Yeah.
It's you know how I joked and said, "Oh, as soon as it's going to be 40 and then 400." We're like right around the corner from 40 now. Like
Well, basically
it's
episode 400. Basically.
it's honestly, yeah, we're halfway there. It feels like. How you been? How you been, Jens?
Pretty good. Pretty busy week. I did True Grit over the weekend.
Yes, nearly died.
Nearly died. Not quite there. I'm still alive, alas. But
So what you're saying is the one training session you did was not enough for True Grit?
actually
Is that
it
what you're saying,
was because I
or-
survived. So
No, yeah, you did. You finished it and stuff like that.
I
as
did
well,
finish
so-
it with no training.
Yeah,
So
and that's
I
what
was
matters. Yeah,
pretty
and that's what
chuffed.
matters. So
Exactly.
yeah.
What about you? What you been up to?
Just uni assignments. It's that time of the year. We're like
Crunch time.
3 weeks away, I think. Yeah, from the end of
Right.
from the end of semester. I got my email with my exams.
Oh,
I
do you
have
know
an
your
exam on a
dates?
Tuesday, and then I have an exam the day after on a Wednesday, which is very fun. So
You know
Yeah,
what?
but I know
It's
my
both
dates
a
now.
blessing and a curse to have them
Yeah.
both back to
I
back.
I think I prefer to have them close together. I sort of hate having
A
one
huge
exam
gap?
right at the start of the session and then an exam right at the end of the session.
Yeah.
Because
you don't feel
then
free.
you sort of like no, you always have that like lingering thing in the back of your head. You're like, oh shit, I should be studying. But,
Yeah. I think I definitely
you know.
prefer it like a day
Yeah, a day or
apart.
two like
Yeah.
in between or something is
Yeah.
fine. Back to back is like it's still okay, but it's like not ideal.
Not
you know?
ideal.
Yeah. The good thing is I do only have 2 exams, so I don't
Yeah.
have to study for like 17 different things. I have to study for 2 subjects basically, which is the silver lining. But yeah. So that's all
good.
happening soon.
Well, good luck.
But yeah. Oh, thank you. I hope I do well.
I'm sure
I,
you'll do fine.
For some reason, I know, I'm sure I'll do alright, but for some reason I felt like I was getting like much better marks when we were doing uni from home because of like, COVID and
interesting.
lockdown and things. They weren't allowing us to go to campus. And
Yeah.
I honestly felt like I was performing better than me traveling to campus every week and, sitting in class and stuff like that, which is a weird thing because I was always super against doing online learning because I
Yeah.
felt like I was going to be super like unmotivated to
Yeah.
do schooling because like I have so many distractions around me. But yeah, surprisingly, I did a lot better, I feel. So
Oh, that's very
who knows?
interesting.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see, and I can compare,
Yeah.
a semester apart and see if I am correct or if I'm just sort of making it up. And yeah,
We shall see.
yeah, we shall see. But I want to start today with things that you've been playing because I know there's one game that you've been playing a bunch of,
A whole
Which-
bunch.
which I want to take my headphones off right now because I don't want any spoilers because I have
Okay,
not
I
yet had the
promise.
chance to play this game.
I won't
Because
say. I won't
we have
spoil
had
anything.
so many issues with recording this game. It's not even funny. Like
Yeah, it's almost a
last
curse.
week, just last week, we were telling you guys how we ruined recording to play a demo because I got like
time?
corrupted files on my PS5
Oh, yeah.
or something, and the timing schedule and all that. But then the game came out and we're like, oh great, finally we can like just actually play the whole game in one sitting without like, having any problems. No, we had a problem.
Yep. Yep.
It's honestly
It's been a struggle, but I believe today's the day that you get to play this game. I believe.
finally.
I believe.
Oh man.
But obviously, we
yeah.
are talking about Resident Evil Village.
Yes.
My brain just stopped for a second.
No, you're fine.
Holy shit. I won't say
It's been-
anything.
It's been so hard to tread the internet because
Oh, I
like I open
bet.
YouTube, everyone's playing Resident Evil. I open Twitch, everyone's playing Resident Evil, and it's like, man, what can I watch? So I've been like going back. I've been watching Invincible and things like that,
Right.
to pass the time where I can. But it's been real hard to navigate the internet because there's just
Yeah.
I don't want any spoilers, or inadvertent spoilers or so yeah.
All I'll say is, can I say anything, or should we just move
I
on?
know you've been enjoying it and things like that. and you honest to God, like I watch Jenz's streams, or I have them up in the background as I do uni work and things, and she'll usually stream for like 3.5, 4 hours tops. Like she's topping out at like 6-hour streams playing Resident Evil just because she's been enjoying it so much.
Yeah, I haven't been able to stop streams. I just
yeah.
They fly by when I'm playing Resident Evil, and it's just such a...
And having said that, I know Bruce Green, sort of a friend or a colleague of yours a little bit. I saw a tweet from him earlier this morning that said he is in no way or any shape or form a Resident Evil fan, know, but he's been playing Resident Evil 8, and he said it is honestly one of the best games that he has played in a long time. Like, in the same boat as you, he hasn't been able to put it down.
100%, man. It is...
Which is, it's...
my game.
It sounds...
It's now trumped my Uncharted 4. Like, I used to love...
no.
Yeah.
No, don't tell me that.
Yeah.
No.
It is trumped Uncharted 4. It is my favorite game of all time.
That's crazy.
So I'm very excited for you to play this.
Wow. Okay, should I take my socks off now, or do you want me to like leave them on for the gameplay?
Keep them on.
Okay, all right, yeah, okay.
See what happens.
Damn, all right, okay.
But it seems to be that it's been really popular, or at least been well received across the whole platform, because it's sold 3 million copies.
That's a nice segue. I like that.
Yeah,
that's a really good segue. Yeah, this morning, 3 million copies they announced, which makes it the fastest selling. Yeah. Which is amazing for Resident Evil. That's crazy. Yeah, for a pretty niche, like for what used to be a relatively niche game, I would feel. Like horror survival games. And things. They're not. Yeah, they're not everyone's bread and butter.
No.
Like you Call of Duty and stuff like that. Minecraft. Yeah, they're the stock standard games. But to have like a horror survival game sell 3 million copies relatively quickly, is pretty good. So good on Capcom. Congrats to them and to Lady Dimitrescu, our lovely, star of the series, I guess. Yeah, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for you to play this. I can't wait either, man. Hurry up. Come on, let's go. Right? After this, we're doing that. Yeah, straight away. But anyways, shall we move on to the next part of the news this week? We can start getting onto some of the things. So I saw this morning when I was doing my research over some lunch, that we all know that the Nintendo Switch Pro, we all know that it's been rumored for like the past 3 years. Yeah. That it's, you can't escape it. It's one of the worst kept secrets in the video gaming industry at the moment, is that the Switch Pro is a thing. But this morning, a little bit of proof was leaked that just goes to show that it probably is going to be happening right around the corner. It's like it's coming. So an OLED manufacturing firm called Universal Display Corp has apparently leaked some news pertaining to the Switch Pro coming out sometime soon, stating in an investor call that Nintendo is choosing. This is just the little tidbit of information that we got that basically confirms it, but that Nintendo is choosing to update the screen on the current Switches from like the LCD screen that they have on the Switch and Switch Lite to an OLED screen. So he was basically just inadvertently confirming that Nintendo is looking into parts or is in the process of manufacturing the Switch Pros. Now, with all that being said too, Nintendo themselves still hasn't confirmed anything. Like, we don't have an official word from them, or sort of any hints or tidbits or leaks from Nintendo themselves. This is all coming from third-party sort of manufacturers or just people in the industry. But with E3 only a couple of weeks away now, we can only hope that there might be some more hardware news in like the Nintendo Direct that they do whenever they decide to do it. Have they confirmed a Nintendo Direct for E3? I mean, they're confirmed going. They haven't confirmed that it's going to be, like, obviously it's going to be a Direct because E3 this year is all online, like we stated a couple of episodes ago, I think, in like 15 or 16 it would have been, episode 15 or 16, we can go back and listen to that. But there will be a Direct, we just don't know what day they're going to be on, you know? I think Nintendo's usually one of the last to do a presentation. Usually, like, I think Sony goes first super early in the morning, and then it's like Xbox and Ubisoft the next day, and I think Bethesda's also on day one, typically. And then Nintendo's usually one of the last sort of big, presenters of the week, or the weekend, sorry. But yeah, Now, I'm really excited for this because I've been waiting for a Switch Pro for ages. I have a normal, regular, like, first edition Nintendo Switch, the neon colorway and stuff like that,
Do you reckon
which I
you
love.
upgrade?
It's a great console. 100% I'm going to upgrade. Yeah, 100%.
I
A
wonder.
store here in Australia for those
Mm,
international listeners, EB Games, or as those who I know it, like GameStop in North America and whatnot. They usually do pretty good trade deals for
yeah.
consoles. So like they'll knock like 200, 250 off the price of a console for like if you trade in the old one. Like I know for my PS5, I'm still super proud about this.
Oh,
I
that's
traded in my
right. Yeah.
PS4 Pro towards my PS5, my disc edition. So it would be 750 Australian dollars. Like if you just go into a store
Yeah.
and buy it, if you could, 750 bucks. I paid 350 odd dollars for my PS5, which is
Oof,
insane to me. Like,
that's
yeah,
really good.
that was a steal, basically.
Especially because you could sell your old one for like, because that would have been a problem if you
Yeah,
bought a new one. They'd be like, oh,
exactly. Yeah,
I have an old PlayStation 4. What am I going to do with this?
what am I going to do? Especially the fact that you can play most of the PS4 games on the PS5
Yeah.
anyways. So it was an easy decision for me. I was like, yeah, sure thing. Like, and I don't have much room in my bedroom as it is. So like, I don't know where I was going to keep it. You know, like I'm not going to keep it plugged in. I was just going to put it in a storage box somewhere. But yeah, so hopefully, the stores here do a pretty good trade-in deal for the Switch Pro. I would assume they would. Because same thing, like I'm not going to need the regular Switch if I get a Switch Pro.
Yeah.
It's kind of redundant, just be collecting dust somewhere. So yeah. But would you upgrade, do you reckon, Jens?
I don't know. I don't use
You
it
don't play.
enough.
You don't play Switch that much. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't use it enough to
Mm.
warrant an upgrade just yet.
Okay. Yeah.
If it's mostly
You'd
just
probably
for
have
the
to
screen.
wait. Yeah, you'd probably have to wait and see if there was any other bonuses to
Yeah.
it that would warrant like a solid upgrade.
I don't think they would do, like, there wouldn't be exclusives for it. It'll all be pretty standardized across.
I mean, Nintendo themselves inherently are just an exclusive brand. Like
Yeah,
you can't go
that's
and pick
true.
up Pokemon on the PlayStation or PC or anything like that. So if you're buying a Switch, you're already buying it for the games. You're
Yeah.
not buying it for the hardware. Like that's the one reason I bought the Switch was so I could play Mario. Like I freaking love Mario. When I saw Mario Odyssey coming out, I was like, honest to God, I don't care what I'm paying for it. I'm buying a Switch.
That was a really good game.
Which is, yeah, honestly, if you guys haven't played it, one of the best, if not the best, Mario games ever, probably. It's the definition of a perfect game in my eyes. It's great. Same with like Breath of the Wild. As many people have said, it's probably the closest thing you can get to a perfect game, I feel. But yeah, so hopefully, just going back onto the Switch Pro news, hopefully there's some E3 news. Because then it's only a couple of weeks away. We don't have to wait too long.
Yeah, I'm really curious on the price point for this, but yeah.
Yeah. Because the regular Switch itself is relatively expensive compared to
It's around 500,
like a normal
right?
console. It's around 500 Australian dollars. Considering that you can get, if you could walk into a store and buy one, considering they priced the PlayStation 5, the discless edition, like the digital edition, I think it's 600 or 650.
Okay.
And then the online edition for the Xbox Series X, I think, is roughly around the same price, like $600 or $550 or something like that. So for not much more, you could get like a proper, I say proper in quotations, but like a proper sort of, home console, whereas the Switch is like 50-50, like a portable and a home console. It's relatively expensive. So I would think that the Switch Pro would be around the $600 mark, 600, 650.
Yeah,
who knows?
Sounds about right.
We just hope as well that like with all of the manufacturing issues that like the PlayStation has had, the Switch doesn't have the same sort of thing.
That's true.
Because like there are silicon shortages in the world at the moment and stuff. There's GPU shortages because of it. So there's a whole bunch of things going on in sort of the manufacturing world that could affect the release of it. But who knows? Well, like most things we report on this podcast, we just have to wait and see,
Pretty much.
Yeah. But I guess we can move on to the next topic. I'll get Jenz to explain this one. Now, Disco Elysium, you remember we talked about a couple of weeks back.
Yes. Which has been pretty much quote unquote banned in Australia, or will be.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
But the ban is now being reviewed in Australia, which is very interesting. So the game's classification refusal is now being officially reviewed, which I guess they'll decide if... I mean, it's weird because it's being sold in Australia still. It's still here.
That's why that's why I said it's sort of a good description to say sort of, you know, quote unquote banned, because yes, whilst it is refused classification and it is refused like sale in Australia, that sort of only affects the physical stores, like, you know, JB Hi-Fi, EB Games, Big W, all that sort of stuff that can stock a physical copy of the game.
Yeah.
Because digital sales, whilst technically are still banned, are just going ahead. Like GOG, is it Game Over Galaxy or Galaxy of Games or something like that? I don't know what the acronym is. And Steam, they're basically just ignoring it. Yeah, and are still selling the game to Australians. You know, it's so this reviewer will basically only affect the way that the game can be sold in physical stores. So if the review process goes ahead, or when it goes ahead, sorry, and they decide or don't decide that the game can be sold in Australia, it just means you'll start seeing it on shelves.
Yeah.
So, you know,
which is such a shame.
But it's sort of interesting how fast it is a little bit, because like we said in the podcast where we discussed it, like we now have R18 ratings and things. So if it's gonna be refused classification, or if you feel like it's too much, just give it the R rating, and you basically already cut like a lot of people out from buying the game in the first place, because, you know, they can't purchase it without adult consent or without an adult there or something, you know. But it's sort of just interesting how fast this turned around, you know, like it wasn't too long ago that they refused classification, and now like a month later maybe they're like, actually, you know what, let's review this.
But I wonder why.
When I was researching this, Jenz, the Reviewal board is separate to the rating board, like the classification board sort of thing,
right? Because
the classification board's 24/7 basically just classifying movies, TV shows, video games, like anything that's to be sold sort of to the general public. They have this separate Reviewer board which only meets like once every like year or something like that. You know, they're super exclusive, like they never sort of, you know, do anything other than this. And there's like only 10 or 11 of them or something that all meet up. And when they do meet, they usually come to a decision relatively quick. So like in the notes, hopefully we'll have something to report back on next week, you know? But who knows how long it might take them to sort of get through this. It's
And I wonder if this will then affect any future games that are a little...
I feel like we're always going to have this problem in Australia.
Probably.
I feel like it's always going to be a thing. Like, because there are some things that warrant it, you know? There are some things that I would agree deserve to be refused classification in Australia. Like, you know, mainly things regarding like, and I'm going to sort of pertain this with a trigger warning, but like, you know, pertaining things like, you know, rape or, you know, sexual abuse and things like that. Like if that's in a game, obviously I can see why they would want to refuse classification to that.
Yeah.
But drug use and things like that, it's sort of like, I don't know, I guess. I feel like that's kind of silly to refuse classification on.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in the context of a video game, and it all comes back down to context too. Obviously, if it's a game like, I don't know, let's say Heroin Addict Simulator 2022, like obviously that's kind of stupid, but if it's something like, you know, a post-apocalyptic thing like what Disco Elysium sort of is, it's like context matters, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a like, I don't know, it's hard to talk about, but yeah,
it is. It's a weird subject. It's a touchy subject to sort of get into. But it's I hope it does get classified in Australia. Like I hope it does get the R rating, and you just slap a big sticker on it that says, you know, drug use in, you know, in the game, like what the sticker says on Grand Theft Auto. Like,
there's a sticker
I'm pretty sure. Oh well, the little R18 box in the bottom left or whatever. If you buy a physical copy, I think it says drug use in the game.
Right,
like
right.
it's not hidden, you know. which is the whole point of the classification
Yeah.
board, is to clearly state what is going to be in the game. Like, it's just put that on the box. You know, it's not really hard. But I think the thing that got it banned in the first place was the fact, like, one of the they usually, when they review these things, they usually put like a case study to it. Like, so they'll show you the part that they flagged as being the thing that they don't want to be in the game. And I think I read that it was like you were talking to some kid and his dad was a drug addict or something and died because of it. But then afterwards, after you talk to this kid, you can go back and talk to him and you can basically split a bag of like cocaine with him.
Oh, right.
And it's sort of like, I think the classification board classed it as like a morally ambiguous like activity sort of thing, you know, which again, I understand, but it's like, not every player is going to do that, and you can't just ban something because you think one player is going to do it or something like that. I don't know. It's like,
but it's like,
it's weird.
Then if they don't, like, they can, I think they're just doing it because they can be liable. So if it does happen, they're liable and they have to pay for the consequences, and they want to cover their ass.
That's probably the thing. Yeah, they're probably going to try to cover the butt. Yeah, yeah.
And it's just a gray like line.
Yeah, yeah.
Of what's right, what's wrong. Don't really know. Because drug use is bad, but not everyone will see it that way. I don't
condone it in any way. Exactly. It's No, it is. It's a weird topic to sort of have to talk on and discuss.
We shall
see. But it's
see.
good that we can discuss it. Yeah, hopefully, like I said, next week we'll have some news on whether it did get classified or if it's still refused classification. But I don't think it's going to matter if they refuse classification again, because you can still just go and buy it on Steam.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be the loophole to get around it anyways. If people want to play it, they can still play it, pending they have a PC that can run it. So it just means you can't play it on Xbox at the moment, you know? Which, yeah. But moving on. Yeah. A little bit of a lighter topic.
Yeah.
Do you remember E3 from like 20 years ago, Jenz? When Ubisoft announced
I would have been 9.
Bones?
So no.
Jeez, you're old, yeah. No.
You would have been 4?
Skull and Bones, do you remember? I would have been like, what was it? Yeah, 20 years ago. Yeah, roughly.
Jeez.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
No, I'd have been 7, not 9. My brain.
It's fine. You got to have a coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
But yeah, Skull and Bones. Do you remember hearing about this game?
Never.
Well,
I know you have.
Announced. I wasn't very fond of this game. Like, this was announced directly, I think, alongside Sea of Thieves. So they were announced at the exact same E3, I'm pretty sure, from memory. Or maybe a year apart or something. But yeah, Ubisoft announced Skull and Bones, it looked like it was just sort of the ship battles and like gameplay from Assassin's Creed Black Flag, just sort of put onto a larger scale, and it looked like it was multiplayer, so like you were fighting against other people's ships and yada 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 yada. But this was meant to be coming out in 2018.
Oh.
But it is now 2021.
Yeah.
And we still don't have the game.
No.
Which means it was meant to come out in 2018. It was then delayed to 2019. In 2019, it was delayed to 2020.
Ooh.
In 2020, it was delayed to 2021. And now in 2021, we have found out that Skull and Bones has once again been delayed to 2022 or 2023. Ubisoft still isn't sure of which year they want to go for.
Ooh. That's not good.
Honest, I don't see this game coming out.
Probably
I feel
not.
like it has been delayed one too many times to be released.
I wonder why. Okay, yeah,
there is some more news that I found. I found another article pertaining to Ubisoft, which was, it's sort of like made me connect 2 points together. But apparently Ubisoft is also shifting away, and this was like some like upper person in Ubisoft, you know, in their board thing, said that Ubisoft was apparently shifting away from producing like 3 or 4 AAA games a year, and is instead focusing on delivering more and more like highly polished, like really well done, high quality free-to-play games. But these free to play games
Interesting.
are based off like sort of their large franchises. So think like maybe like Far Cry free to play, sorry, Assassin's
Mm,
Creed free to plays, so on and so forth.
mm.
Um, which I connected the dots, and it leads me to believe that if Skull and Bones does come out, they're delaying it so that they can make it a free to play game that's chock full of microtransactions, similar to like what War of Tanks or something like that is, where
Right.
it's like you get a couple of free like tanks, but they're like not that good, but then you have to go and buy, credits or buy additional tanks or things like that to
Yeah.
get better and better.
That makes sense.
And it's, yeah, I don't know, it felt like it was too perfect of a coincidence, like these two news things coming out right next to each other, for it to not sort of go hand in hand. And I
Hmm.
wouldn't be surprised if when Skull and Bones does eventually come out, if ever, that it is a free to play game.
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, if it's because I wonder if it's out, it's ready to go, but they're kind of like
Yeah,
trying to
like
schedule it.
maybe it was ready to be deployed or something like that. Like it
Mm.
was all good to go, like it was built and things like that. But then since Ubisoft has shifted focus, they told them, we're not going to release it just yet. You have to go back and you have to change the progression system of the game. You have to change
Yeah.
a couple of things to make it a free to play game, like a freemium game,
Mm.
which is quite concerning because there's a couple of good Ubisoft games out there which I would hate to see go that route.
Yeah.
You know, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very interesting. I guess
I just, yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean, is it worth
I
the
don't know.
wait?
I don't think so. I said it was announced alongside Sea of Thieves, and I
Hmm.
much prefer Sea of Thieves. I think that is my favorite pirate game ever that I have played. I
Yeah.
haven't played Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I have played like maybe 20 minutes of it or something like that, but
A
not
lot of
much.
people love Black
Um,
Flag.
it's on my list. I just couldn't get into it at the start. I don't know what it was.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. But Sea of Thieves, I freaking love. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like that is the perfect sort of pirate game, like with the exploration, like the puzzle solving, the sailing,
Mm.
the fight. Like, it's really well done. Skull and Bones for me, I just didn't like the look of, because it looked like it was just ship battling, which reminded me
Mm.
too much of like War of Tanks or Water Tanks, whatever it is. Which I didn't like as well. I don't really like that sort of gameplay where it's just
Yeah.
like you're stuck inside one vehicle. You can only do sort of a handful of things.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. So if it doesn't come out, I'm not going to be mad, because I'm still going to have Sea of Thieves to go and play.
That's
Like,
true.
it's, yeah. And like, this goes to show just how long it's been since it was announced. When, right before we started recording this, Jen's jumped in the Discord call with me and was like, wait, what's Skull and Bones? Is that new? And I was like,
Yeah.
no, this game's like 5 years old or something.
Never heard of
It's
it.
been here for ages. It's just never come out. Um, it's, yeah. So I don't know. Would you like to see Ubisoft focus more on freemium games, or do you want them to keep doing what they're doing, and like, we get a new Far Cry game every 2 or 3 years, we get like a new Assassin's Creed every couple of years now? Like, do you want them to focus more on doing those sort of AAA titles?
Uh, I don't know. Like, it depends on what comes out with the freemium games. Like,
Mm.
I don't play Far Cry. I've never really followed Far Cry or Assassin's Creed
Yeah, okay.
personally, so I can't really root
Mm.
for that. I
Yeah.
know it's been cool though, like to see, especially with Assassin's Creed, just to see the different locations with the
Yeah,
very
what theme
similar.
they pick each.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's been
Yeah.
exciting to see.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know, because I know you kind of follow Far Cry, don't you?
I enjoy the Far Cry games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're always a little bit of fun, they're sort of a real fun, like sort of open world, story driven game that, they have a little bit of crazy in them, like you can sort of do some silly things and whatnot. Which, yeah, I am excited for Far Cry 6.
Mm.
But that, as we found out a couple of months back now, probably around the start of the time we started on the podcast, they delayed that
Yeah.
a little bit, which isn't a bad thing. So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like it would be impossible to do a freemium Far Cry game. It would be
Yeah.
physically impossible. Like, I don't know how it would work, but I don't see it working. Unless they did something like GTA Online, where they crafted the absolute most perfect online experience and then charged the shit out of you to play it. But that wouldn't be Far Cry then, because, like I said, you can do a little bit of silly things, but I feel like GTA Online is very different to what the Far Cry open world is.
I wonder if they'll do like shift more of their free to plays now to have more heavily microtransaction, like Siege, for example.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Siege technically isn't free to play.
Yeah, it's not free.
Because it's like you buy the game, so like you can still just buy, it's like it's not like Valorant where the game is free to play and they heavily encourage you to buy the skins and like, all that sort of stuff. Siege is still paying a $60 price tag for if it's not on sale.
Yeah, you are playing in the game, paying.
So it's, yeah, so you do get a little bit at the start of the game, so it's not like freemium. The better comparison would be like Valorant or something like that, I feel, that is free to play, or now CSGO even, because they changed CSGO to be free to play at the start of the year. It's, yeah, I don't know. I feel like they would have to craft something entirely different. Like, you couldn't just, like, give me Watch Dogs 3, for example, and be like, it's free to play, with microtransactions, because I feel like that wouldn't work. I feel like that's too much of a game to be free to play.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go. I feel like they'd have to craft something entirely new, right from the ground up for it to work, I guess. Otherwise, they'd be losing too much money. The only thing is, we don't know if they're going to be like premium things for PC, for console, for all of them, or if it's just for mobile, because I know they've done a couple of like Assassin's Creed games on mobile and things,
yeah, right,
like that were developed just for mobile, and whatnot. And I think they're also developing a Division mobile sort of game thing, that's just for mobile. So it sounds like they're already starting to transition to that sort of freemium like side, I guess, but it's more mobile focused. So who knows if it's going to be just entirely mobile focused. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird topic.
Because we just don't have enough information.
You hate freemium? I hate freemium. I would hate to see some of the games that I really enjoy being free to play. Like, I feel like if Siege went free to play,
it'd be such a bad community.
I'd stop playing it. Yeah, I'd stop playing it just because the amount of people that would hack and just cause havoc, and it would not be worth my time to sit there and play, I feel. So I would have to find a whole new game to soak all my hours into. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they stick to doing like the AAA games and things like that are $60 and are really like quite fleshed out and all that junk. I would hope.
I hope so, because I really do like Ubisoft.
Yeah, they're a pretty good company. They do power some pretty solid things.
But I guess they also just want to experiment, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You can probably tell that it's all investors. Like, we want our return on investment.
Yeah.
We want money. Like, what's the best way to get that return on investment? And it's freemium. It's proven time and time again. Like, but yeah. But I think that's all our topics we have for this week. Was there anything else that you wanted to add on, Jenz? Have you been watching anything, or, other than Resident Eviling? Have you been up to any much?
Honestly,
watching F1 and stuff?
Oh yeah, there was since we last spoke, there was another race, I think.
There was a race, yeah.
Yeah, we went to Spain, that was good. And then Monaco is next. So I'm not really watching a lot that's new.
No.
It's Invincible
finished.
Did you finish it?
No.
Okay.
I finished episode 2. I'm to episode 3 now.
Oh, so
I'm taking it in. You know, I'm
So
savoring
slow.
it. You know, like I'm savoring it.
Oh, we started The Killing.
What's that?
It's a TV show. I love it. It's fairly old, maybe 2000s, but
What's it on?
Disney
Netflix, like Stan
Plus.
Okay, Disney. Okay, yeah, on the Star thing.
The Star one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
cool.
you have to search for it. But it follows it's like a murder detective, like TV show. It's just really good.
Okay. Yeah.
Really good.
Okay.
Highly recommend. Been following that. Been watching that. Been binging that. And that's all we watch. And Futurama now, as well.
Yeah, I saw. Steven started getting you to watch Futurama. Are you enjoying it?
I am actually. It's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's one of the better like Matt Groening shows, I feel. Like Simpsons, like a lot of people will say Simpsons sort of started to get real stale. And
I mean, there's a
like,
lot of Simpsons.
There's a lot of Simpsons. But like you ask sort of any Simpsons fan, and they're gonna say like, you know, maybe up to season 10 or 11 is like primetime Simpsons, and then anything after that is sort of like a bit of a snooze fest.
Right.
But I feel like for the most part, you ask any sort of Futurama fan, is the show good? And they're gonna say 95% of the show was good because they didn't have to stay around for as long as the Simpsons did. I feel like they didn't just have to start trying to pull shit out of their ass.
Yeah,
I feel. I don't know.
I've heard maybe towards the end it kind of like isn't great.
Yeah, I have heard
of ideas.
Yeah, the last couple of seasons weren't as good as the earlier again, but it's not as long of a stretch as what the Simpsons sort of dry run was or has been. So,
what about you?
I haven't been watching anything other than Invincible when I can, like you know, just
you've been pretty
the second
busy
episode and whatnot. Yeah, I've been busy with uni and things like that. I helped a friend move out like late last night.
Really?
So yeah, I've been busy doing things, but me and Emma have crafted a list of horror movies we want to watch. There's a fair few horror movies that we haven't seen or that have been on our list for a fair while. Like I've
like
wanted
old
to,
school.
Some of them are old school. Some of them are more of the modern sort of horror things. But
Right.
like I really want to watch It Follows, and I still haven't seen it.
It
and I've
Follows
heard that's one
is
of the
great.
best horror movies in modern days. So. And
Yeah.
I don't think Emma's seen it either, so that's like both on our list. So we've been slowly crafting this list to start ticking off.
Oh, great!
You know, some spooky movies and things. Whenever we can find the time, because at the moment there's sort of a dry spell of things that's coming out.
Yeah, there really
we're
is.
just waiting on the next Disney Plus show. We're just waiting on Black Widow to come out in cinemas. So we can go and see that. All those sorts of things. But yeah.
Well,
And then I think I don't know if I remember stating it in the last podcast or if I just spoke to Emma about it, but I also wanted to watch Chernobyl. It's been on my list for a very long while.
You've not seen Chernobyl?
No, I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it.
Oh wow, you need to watch
and
that.
It's been on my list.
It's so well produced and it's so it's such a good watch, but it's so hard to watch.
I've heard that. I've heard it's quite tough to sit through.
I think you'll love it because it feels like a documentary, but not like a movie, but like a documentary because it's real life.
It's sort of like District 9. I don't know if you've seen District 9.
I have, but I don't remember.
They did that really well in the sense that they filmed it like a documentary, but it was obviously a fake documentary. You know,
but it's it doesn't film like a documentary, but it feels It's weird because it's all the shit that's actually happened.
Yeah,
and like you follow it. I don't know. You just watch it. I highly recommend that. I think it's a really important watch as well.
That's been on my list because it's also only like 12 episodes long or something too.
Yeah,
so
it's not
the
long
longest.
At all.
It's a HBO show for those that don't know. So it's like Jen said, really highly
binge,
produced,
right?
like super big budget stuff like that. I think it's on binge. Yeah.
Really good.
So that's probably the next watch we're gonna do, the next series thing, and then we're gonna start our movie run. But
yes. I had a low key was like, maybe I want to watch this again. I'm like, nah, bit dark. I've already been through.
Yeah, it's a think of a bit of a heavy show to have to
very
sit
heavy,
through,
but it's so
a second time
good in a weird way.
Yeah. No, okay, I'll just have to to get Emma to watch it with me then. Okay. But I think that's everything we have for this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've run our clock out. Nothing else you wanted to add, Jens? That was basically it.
No, except please go play some Village.
Yes. If you are able to purchase the game, if you are of age and can purchase an R18 game in Australia, please go and play Resident Evil Village. Even if you don't like horror games. Like, I wasn't a fan of horror games.
Really?
And then I played Resident Evil... Yeah, I'm not a fan, really. Then I played Resident Evil 2 Remake. Fell in love with them.
Oh, yeah.
And now I want to play as many sort of... Now I want to play as many sort of good horror games that I can. There's a difference between being a horror game, like, fan and sort of just playing, like, you know, Slender Man and things like that, which is a bit... Ugh. But then,
it's that cliche.
You play decent horror.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm sort of focusing on more, is playing like these big AAA, like really well done sort of horror games. So yeah. But if you can, go play Resident Evil 8, because that's what I'm gonna do right now.
Yay.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening. We will see you all next week, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Goodbye.
Goodbye.